This program was first broadcast on Canterbury's community access radio station Plains FM 96.9 and was made with the assistance of New Zealand On Air.
Coming up next on Plains FM is Find Your Bliss.
Good morning, Bliss lovers. Welcome to the Intuitive Life Academy here, Find Your Bliss radio show, where we talk about all things metaphysical, intuitive, and otherwise. It's great to be here, and I'm excited to join you in terms of talking about today's topic, which is a good one. So a big shout out to Nicola, who approached me about this topic, and the topic is how to be an excellent receiver. And I love this topic because I often talk about creation or manifestation in my work, and receiving what you want or your desires is a huge part of that. So we can spend a lot of time giving thought, energy and passion to our desires and kind of setting them free, putting them out into the ether, wanting to have them come made manifest. But if we're not open to receiving it, that can actually literally stop or block us from having the creation, having the reality of what it is that we desire. Even the process of desire in itself is really fascinating because, of course, as soon as you have desire, it's almost like inevitably resistance will be created. Or even entropy, as we call it. And that's an interesting discussion, right? If you have desire, if you have something that you're wanting to put out into the world, you know, if you look at physics, there's automatically going to be some form of resistance in relation to that desire. So this is what we talk about a lot in manifestation is how do you have the desire but be detached, i.e. let it go, so there is no resistance in terms of receiving it back again into your reality, what it takes to become an energetic and vibrational match for it, but of course also too what happens in terms of receiving it and allowing that to come into your reality. So when Nicola approached me about this topic, one of the first things that kind of came into my awareness is one word, really simply. If you want to be an excellent receiver, you will do what it takes to be open. Right? So receiving means that you are open. Now, let's talk about this a little bit too. And this comes back definitely to the energy centers in your body, also known as your chakras. And I want to give you some examples in terms of how your energy centers can get shut down and how that affects your openness and therefore your ability to be able to receive. So let's talk about that a little bit. First and foremost, let's just concentrate because you have multiple chakras, right? You have multiple energy centers. What we're going to concentrate on today is just the 7 main energy centers that you have in your body, starting with your crown. So if your crown is shut down, then you probably don't feel that open or connected to the universe. When you pray, it might feel like there's a limitation. I've literally seen it before when people open up their crown chakras. I remember when I got a Reiki attunement, and there was so much pressure in the top of my head, and that was literally my crown opening up, my crown chakra. Now, why would your crown chakra close down? Your crown chakra can close down because you kind of feel like the universe isn't supporting you, or doesn't hear your prayers, or you're annoyed on some level with the universe, which is actually really common because, of course, we have things that happen in our life. And when it comes down to it, especially if it's something big, life-changing, we have a relationship with the universe, whether we're aware of it or not. And what can happen is subconsciously we can end up blaming the universe. So this is often when the crown gets shut down. The universe isn't there for me. It's not supporting me. It's not helping me. So we shut off our connection to the universe. And you think about it, even like if you're a child and how wonderful it feels to have somebody stroke your hair. That is the center of your connection to source energy. Source energy comes down from up above, comes into your physical body. The truth is it's all around you in every direction. You are it. There is no separation. But for the physical body, and when we're first starting in our journey, focusing on your crown chakra is really important in regards to being open to allowing the universe to move through you. The next chakra, of course, is your third eye. How can this get shut down? Not wanting to see the truth. Seeing a lot of the dissonance that is being created in the planet. I see a lot of people who shut down their third eye because they've almost got too much information. Like you've been watching the news, you don't know what the truth is anymore. You're feeling disconnected from truth. You don't know if you can trust what it is that you see. So the third eye, it almost looks like, to me, it kind of looks like a cone that goes outwards, but it can get filled up with junk. Right? So you know what it's like when you have clarity? That's when your third eye is open, right? You're seeing the truth. So that's what it can feel like when your third eye gets shut down. There's too much untruth, too much dissonance, too much information perhaps, and not enough wisdom. Remembering, of course, that the third eye chakra actually goes out the front of your head and also the back of your head. So if you've got, if your head space is really busy, your thought processes can be even jamming up your third eye. And again, this is going to become more relevant into why this is so important in regards to being a good receiver. I'll go through that in a minute. Your throat, of course, when your throat gets shut down, right? Maybe you've had a circumstance where you've been told as a child that your opinion doesn't matter, that you went to speak your truth and it made somebody feel uncomfortable. I've definitely had that before. And so therefore you want to hold your throat back. You don't feel like people are receiving what it is that you're saying. You think about it too. Your throat, or your neck especially, is the narrowest part of your body. So a lot of energy and emotion can get stuck in the throat. Thinking about words that have been left unsaid. And again, the throat is huge in terms of your expression. What's the cure for depression, repression, suppression? It's expression. So your throat chakra needs to be open to be able to express your love, to say to somebody, I love you, I appreciate you, I love having you in my world. That's energy that's coming up from your heart and moving out of your throat. Super important for the throat chakra to be open, especially in terms of receiving. Okay, and then moving down into your heart. Now, what does a shut down heart look like? If you've experienced heartbreak, often what can happen, and we can do this subconsciously, is we feel hurt. So our ego kind of reinforces to us that we need defense or protection from other people or even from love, because love hurts. So what that can look like in the heart space, it can look like contraction in the heart space and opposed to expansion. It can look like a heart wall, right? And if you want to be an excellent receiver, you want to keep your heart open no matter what. And it will often be the rational ego part of yourself that will convince you that you need protection from other people, that other people hurt you, right? And, we'll talk a little bit in a wee while about defenselessness and what that looks like and how that is completely possible when you're working from the level of spirit as opposed to the level of mind. Because the level of mind is often rooted in, not always, but often rooted in fear and doubt. And then you have those feelings, if you've gone through a heartbreak, I've even seen it before when the head and the heart, they kind of get divorced, right? Because the heart just wants to love. That's its nature. But then the head will say, but you've just had this terrible relationship which you failed at miserably, so you're no good at loving, or your love is no good, right? So the head and the heart can have this terrible conversation, and then the heart will shut down, or the head will convince the heart to shut down. It will be like, oh, hold yourself back. You're too much for people, or your love hasn't been received by that person, so therefore you are wrong in some way. Super painful, right? And then we create a little bit of what we call a defense mechanism or a heart wall. You might have heard of it referred to as that. And of course, what that means is it's placing a separation between yourself and the rest of life. And that feels super painful because, of course, you're holding back your true essence, which is love frequency. So you'll feel defensive. You'll feel like people are attacking you. You'll feel like they want to take something from you if you've got a little bit of a heart wall in place. And our job is to go, what's it going to take for me to trust my infinite nature, to realize that I don't need a heart wall, right? That it's safe, right, and good for me to step into a new level of awareness and create a different reality and a different paradigm where I can literally be defenseless. I don't need to protect myself from anyone or anything because I'm experiencing my true nature, which is that nothing can attack me. Nobody's words or energy can land within me because I know the truth of who I really am. And I get it. That sounds very lofty, and if it's not your current reality, it might be like, well, that sounds really nice, but how do I get there? We get there through awareness. We get there by realizing what's true and what's not. You know, your thoughts, feelings, emotions, often even, they're not always necessarily correct information, right? They're not all, let's put it this way, they're not true. They're correct in the moment often, but not true in terms of who you are. So our job is to work out the difference, you know. Thought-based reality is not who you are. You are pure awareness. So that requires removing yourself from thought and getting to a place where you're experiencing the awareness of who you are, which is almost like it's very different. I've talked about this before about how when you develop your intuition and you start tuning into the frequency of the universe, you think less and be more, right? You're in the energy of being, of presence, of awareness, rather than being in the energy of a thought process or thinking about or ruminating about something. And you might be able to appreciate, even just from me saying that even being is more peaceful because there's no constant chatter or thoughts or something that's leaving you in the rational mind. And you might be able to feel even too that when you're in that presence, the eternal presence of the divine, and tuning into that and being present with that more and more and more throughout your day, you experience a greater amount of peace. When you have that peace, you have no need for defensive energy, because it's only your mind or your subconscious that will be reinforcing that other people hurt me, or life hurts me, so therefore I need protection from it. Okay, so there is a greater truth available. And just holding that space, if you're not there yet, I appreciate it, because I've definitely had, I know what it is like to run defensive energy. Totally. People, when people say things and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they said that, and it lands in you, right? And the beautiful thing about this, though, is these people are your teachers. They are your guides. They are the ones who are essentially helping you to evolve into a new level of reality. How cool is that, right? And that's, somebody was talking to me about that, about enlightenment and what is enlightenment. Enlightenment, one of the ways that you know that you're on the pathway to self-realization and enlightenment is when you can look at your perceived enemies and realize that they're an extension of you. They are God in a body, which is you in a body. So you're literally looking at yourself, and to be able to love them without any defensiveness, right? You don't need to stay there and be abused, right? But at the same time, you can extend love because you can see the truth of who they really are, even if they haven't figured it out yet, right? So that's the beautiful thing about people in our life who create that contrast. They are helping you to grow. Always train your mind to look for the solution. If you know right now that you're in defensive energy in your heart space, what is the solution to that? Always It's more love. How can I experience more love in my life and world? What would it take to love myself so much to know that I don't even need any kind of defense mechanism? And you'll know what it feels like because it will feel uncomfortable to kind of really let people in. Or, and this is why we want to develop our intuition, right? Because our intuition will tell us if it's safe to do that, right? You can be open and receive people, but really whether you continue to receive them because it's safe, right, and good to do so, your intuition will tell you that. Your intuition will say, be open and friendly to that person, but maybe don't hang out with them. Right? That's what your intuition will tell you because they will know in terms of where that person's at themselves. So again, this is a beautiful process too of checking in and going, well, how open is my heart chakra at the moment? If I was going to measure that on a scale of 1 to 10, and how do you know, right? This is how we start developing our intuition, by asking ourselves these questions. You're literally asking your body's wisdom and awareness to give you an awareness of where that's at. Maybe it's only 50%. That's cool because now you have an awareness because you're like, okay, well, what's it going to be like? What's it going to feel like for my heart to be open 100%? Yeah, right. It feels like you love everything and you love everyone and you can see the universe as all the mind of God. Everything that you're looking at is an extension of the universe. It is all connected. It's all your creation. What you are perceiving is your creation, which makes you godlike, right? You are, in essence, an extension of source energy. So are you celebrating that, right? Are you in the energy of like, oh my goodness, my life is such a gift and I'm getting to experience myself as an extension of the universe by having this body which has created the duality that's required for the universe to experience itself. Pretty mind-blowingly awesome. Excuse me. So what we are talking about today is how to be an excellent receiver. We just started talking about what it takes to go through all your different chakras and check and see if they're open. In the heart space, is there any kind of heart wall there? And this is something that in my intuitive development and practice, I would do on a regular basis. I just check in and go, how open is my heart? Can I extend love to people who I felt hurt by? Can I see the truth of who they are? Can I see the universe in them? When I can, it's easy to extend love to others. I know it's not always easy if you're not there yet, but what does it take to be that person who sets the intention? Because if you ask for the universe to help you in regards to this, it will, right? If you say to the universe, I want to be one of those people who can just love everyone and everything. Why? Because you're going to feel amazing. You think about it. If you're just in the love frequency, everything you experience is going to have a deeper sense of calm. You're going to know the truth of who you really are. Ask the universe to help you in this moment. Universe, I want to be enlightened. I want to be the person who can see love in everything and everyone, and to allow myself to feel that in my body, because it will feel like defenselessness. Okay, excuse me, going into the solar plexus. The solar plexus is really interesting because it has, just below the rib cage, it has a lot of nerve endings. So this is often at times where in this energy center, people can often feel pushed back by life. So again, that energy of separation, rejection, abandonment, a lot of those energies can kind of land in the solar plexus, wanting to move forward into what it is that you're wanting to create and feeling like you can't. So just checking, for yourself and again, this is where a lot of resentment can kind of show up too, right? Like I'm an infinite being in a body and I know that on some level, but I'm not where I want to be. I get it, that feeling of like your mind goes, well, this is my ideal outcome. This is my ideal reality, but I feel like there's something that's holding me back. First and foremost, what does it take to drop back in to your I am essence, the true essence of who you are, because you're going to be able to create your ideal outcomes much faster from your soul than you are from your mind. So again, we kind of want to, instead of continuing to push from the mind, we kind of want to stop that energy and kind of drop into the truth of who we are. Again, to go back to that part of us that doesn't need any kind of defense mechanism. Going down into the sacral chakra, which is just below your belly button, in terms of, really important for creativity, especially for women. It's where your womb is. It's where your divine feminine essence is. It's where your sexual energy is. It's where your energy of pleasure is. So hugely important in terms of creation, in terms of what it is that you want to have come into your physical reality. And again, if it's not open, you're probably not going to be experiencing a huge amount of fun or enjoyment in life, not feeling very creative, not feeling like you've got a great sense of enjoyment, the juiciness of life. So again, in the root chakra, which is at the base of the pelvis, not feeling like life is supporting you, right? Not feeling safe in a physical body. That's what it looks like if your root chakra is kind of shut down. Feeling fearful, feeling anxiety, feeling that life is kind of overwhelming, not feeling connected to the earth plane, not really kind of feeling like, feeling probably like, what am I doing here? Right? What am I doing on this crazy planet? So those are the ways that your energy centers can show up. And again, what does it feel like? Let's just go through them quickly. What does it feel like if they're all open? So your crown chakra is going to feel expanded. You're going to feel connected to source energy. You're going to know that you can ask the universe for help and it will respond. In your third eye, you're going to be able to see the truth. Now, that's a big one for a lot of people, to see the truth, right? Not what I think is the truth, but to see the actual truth, to be able to see basically the way that the universe sees, right? To come into alignment with the mind of God. In your throat chakra, to be able to express yourself, to be able to say to people, I'm actually not okay with that. This is my boundary. Excuse me. Or to be in that space too, where you can say, no, I'm not going to do that. And do it, just like that, without any guilt, without any having to go into, what did we call it? To go into an excuse, to go into a little bit, because this is what happens, right? When we go into an excuse, we go into distortion. So what does it take to actually just say, no, that doesn't work for me, that's my boundary, that's not a good fit for me, and have that be okay without going into self-flagellation, because you're actually not in your own energy. You're more concerned about the other person and what they're thinking and feeling rather than what is good for you and your energy. Okay, and also too, so the throat chakra, that you talk about what you're passionate about and you don't feel like you're too much, right? You find the people who do want to hear you and they are as excited about what you're talking about, as opposed to feeling like, oh, people don't want to hear this, or they're not interested in what I'm excited about. Okay, so again, that's what an open throat chakra looks like. Part of my spiritual practice is coming to the radio and speaking to you guys, because I get to express what brings me joy in terms of doing this work. I want everybody to know that they are infinitely powerful. You're a walking embodiment of God. Do you know that about yourself? Do you have the awareness that you are actually a spiritual leader, whether you have an awareness of that or not? Because you are a spiritual being having a human experience and you are leading your life. So you are therefore a messenger for the divine. You are a spiritual leader and you are doing it the way that you want to do it. You're an extension of source energy, and taking some time to even sit and be with that can be mind-blowing, right? Which is perfect, because you kind of want your mind to be blown and for all the thoughts to kind of just move out of the way, so you can experience that presence of who you really are, which is bliss, right? Which is joy, which is expansive energy, which is peace. It's a culmination of all those things. It's a knowing and it's divine. Where are we up to? So the heart chakra, your throat, obviously expression. Your heart chakra, of course, you're just going to be in love with yourself, with your body, with life, with what you're doing, with the other people in your dream or your reality, whatever you want to call it. You're going to be in love with what it is that you're doing, the conversations that you're having, the people who are in your life. You're going to be able to see them in a completely different way. You're going to see them from a higher perspective. You're going to see them from like, wow, this person is a part of my manifestation. Isn't that incredible? You're going to see yourself literally, I guess, as God, as the universe in a body, having this experience, going, wow, this is mind-blowing, right, that I get to be here and to be in that love frequency where your heart just feels really expanded and you love everyone and everything, and you're checking that, right? You're checking to see how expanded your heart chakra is. Okay, the solar plexus, it's going to be easy to move forward and do whatever you want. If your solar plexus is open, it's going to be easy to take that big action. It's going to be easy to go, you know what, I have no idea what the outcome is, but I'm going to take the leap anyway. I'm going to go for it. I'm only in this body for a certain period of time, so I'm going to break free of all the shackles and I'm just going to go after what makes me really happy. That's what an open solar plexus looks like. It's like, let's go. Woohoo. If you want a wee tip to open up your solar plexus, because it is super powerful, imagine that you've swallowed the sun. So imagine that you've swallowed the sun and you've just taken it and tucked it right underneath your rib cage and you're radiating light. You can do that with any of your chakras, right? But super powerful in the solar plexus because it literally is your power center. It's like the let's go energy. Moving down into your sacral chakra. If you're in an open, you're going to be feeling like life is juicy, life is good, life is sweet, life is delightful, right? Creativity, sexuality, sensuality, using all your senses to enjoy your life experience. Super powerful. Again, into the root chakra, it's going to be easy to manifest. People don't realize this, but your top 3 chakras, right? It's all about your connection to source. Your heart is the center, like the CPU unit, central processing unit on your computer. So it's the connection point for everything, really super powerful. But your lower 3 chakras, they all need, if you want to manifest effortlessly and instantly, you've got to be open in your lower 3 chakras, your solar plexus, your sacral, and your root chakra. Want to manifest money effortlessly? Open root chakra. Want to feel safe in your body? Open root chakra. Want to feel like life is continuing to support you? Open root chakra. And of course, you can probably figure out, if you've experienced some kind of trauma or abuse, you can definitely shut your root chakra down. But again, this is why it's possible to transcend through the power of the infinite. You don't need to stay stuck in the thought processes or memories or circumstances of what's occurred, right? We want to go to those higher frequencies of energy because source energy can shift any vibration that has been created by an ongoing thought process, emotion, or, we can sometimes be addicted to a thought process. Like if something's happened to us in the past and our mind keeps on going back there and it's like it's continuing to cut the groove, source energy can help you shift it just like that. That's why, love heals, God heals, the universe heals. The truth is, you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you, but you're probably holding energy or frequency that is just not serving you. And I know that can seem like a weird concept because when you're in your pain experience, it feels very real. It is real, right? You're having these emotions and you're like, oh my goodness, this is really painful. But the truth is, and I know this can sound really confronting to the ego because the ego's like, surely it can't be that simple. But it is really a process of letting go. That's why the power of surrender is so huge, right? Learning to let go, because this is often what happens, right? People go, I want my life to look like this, and it doesn't, so therefore something's wrong, so therefore something's wrong with me. Right. And again, people get stuck there. Like often when people come and see me and it's just like, oh, let's collapse that paradigm and look at it from a completely different perspective, which is just surrendering all of that so you can come back to a place of knowing who you really are and creating from that space. If you're trying to create from your mind or your subconscious, you will be limited. This is why we want to take inspired action to create the outcomes in our life. We want to go to the highest part of us. We want to go to the part of us that knows everything because it's complete expansion. Like we're like this and the universe is, you can't even see it because my hands can't even fit in the screen, right? The universe is the rest of it. The universe can see everything that, we have a limited perspective. So we want to go into those infinite frequencies to be able to see the true picture. So that's kind of like a description of what it looks like for open energy in your chakras. But also, can you imagine too, right? If you are wanting to create something in your life or wanting to receive it, and part of your energy field this is what we'd call a cross purpose, right? Where we want something, but our body is actually going, I don't really, right? Like you want to be in a love relationship, but there's another part of your energy field that's going, no, I don't, right? Or I have some fear from this past experience. So therefore I'm kind of shut down in maybe some of my energy centers. Again, what you can do is just start asking yourself questions. Where do I feel a little shut down in my body? And this is the beautiful thing about your body. Your body is infinite awareness, right? It's like 60 trillion cells that are all connected to infinite awareness. Your body knows stuff that your mind does not. Thank goodness. So you can start asking your body and your body will tell you. Body will give you information. Now, don't get discouraged because often what happens is sometimes we've accumulated, thoughts, energies, behaviors, etc. And sometimes when we ask our body, it's like, I have no idea what my body's saying. It's just like a relationship with anybody else, right? If you went to a party and you met somebody, you wouldn't say, hey, let's get married, right? Just like that, unless it was love at first sight or something, right? But the point being is your body's the same. Know, like, trust. You have to get to know, like, trust your body. And the way we do that is by asking questions. But your body will give you information instantaneously if you practice it, right? It's just like if you develop a trust relationship with somebody, you're going to trust each other and it's going to flow easily. So with your body, just even noticing now, and I'd love if anybody's keen to put it in the comments as well. I can't actually see them at the moment. Let me just push that and see if I can. If you guys are watching on Facebook, to be in that space where you're asking yourself, where do I feel like there's any contraction in my body? So contraction, that feeling of maybe being shut down. Maybe it feels a little bit heavy. Maybe it feels, you're holding tension in that part of your body. And just asking, kind of doing a wee scan, imagining there's a light coming down from up above and it's just kind of doing a scan through your body and asking your body to kind of show you if there is any energy or tension in your body. Right, and then what will happen, of course, is that you can just send through your mind, though, you're sending through your intention, you're asking to send love to that part of your body. Because again, if you start getting really good at this, your body will give you information all the time. This is why I talk about if I'm in pain, right, I will start asking myself questions immediately, like physical pain. Like if I've got pain in my shoulders, I'm like, okay, what's that all about? Talk to me. Tell me, body, what it is that I need to know about that. Right? My body is communicating with me. It's giving me some information. It's my job to listen. That's one thing too. Excuse me, folks. One thing that is really important, right, in terms of being willing to be open is getting very good at A, being in the present moment, and B, listening. So set the intention, right? What does it take to be an excellent receiver? Play a little game with the universe. What's it going to take to receive amazing things over the next week? I did this once. I was like, I feel like I need to be more appreciated. And I asked the universe to show me the energy of appreciation. I think I got flowers like 3 times that week. It was incredible. So play those games with the universe. Ask the universe, what does it feel like to be really appreciated? Notice, right? Listen with your psychic hearing, not just your physical hearing. So what does that look like? If somebody gives you a compliment, notice, am I taking that all the way into my heart space? Or does it just kind of come up to my heart wall and then drop off? Right? I remember doing a talk once. It was actually at BNI, and I was talking to the crowd, which was a mixture of men and women. and I was talking to them about energy and about receptivity. And I said to the guys in the room, right, what it feels like when you give a woman a compliment, which is a vibrational gift. You're expressing appreciation and affection, and you give that gift to a woman and she doesn't receive it. Right? And all the guys in the room, you could see the energy. They just all shifted on their feet and muttered, because it landed with them. They knew what it was like to give a compliment to a woman and say, wow, you're really beautiful, or gosh, I love you, and then come up against defensive energy. And then they don't feel like they've been received. So being very, very aware. So if somebody gives you a compliment, even if it feels uncomfortable to start with, first of all, learn just to say thank you. Don't say anything other than that to start with, right? You don't say, oh, no, I don't, or no, thank you. No, receive it. But notice how far you're actually receiving it. Do you take it all the way into your heart? Is it easy for you to say, oh, thank you so much. That is so kind of you. I love that you noticed, or whatever the case may be. Right? Notice that. That's always the litmus test. Notice when people are appreciating you. That is huge. And notice your level of comfort with it. Okay? Because that discomfort is showing you something. That discomfort is probably showing you a limiting belief that you're holding in terms of your own value, your own self-esteem, your own worth. So checking that if somebody's giving you something, and notice this, even if it's like somebody's taking you out for lunch, notice if you feel uncomfortable if they want to pay. Because I also want you to notice this too, on a more rational mind level, people who love to give, I want you to check this. If you're the giver, right, first of all, ladies, that's masculine energy. Giving is masculine, receiving is feminine, okay? If you're the one giving all the time, you're also the one who's in control. So I remember I'm talking about this with a client once, and she was like, oh my goodness. Because you think about it, we have to be open and vulnerable to receive, and that can feel uncomfortable. And also too, if you've experienced any kind of trauma, especially physical, emotional, sexual, it's going to feel even more uncomfortable if you're holding on to any of that old energy. So this is where we need to start going, okay, is there any parts of me that don't feel safe to receive all the way in? So what needs to be released, let go of, so I can go back to the truth of who I really am, so I can be in the energy of defenselessness, right? And therefore know the truth of who I really am. And I get it, I appreciate, that there's a letting go that needs to take place, Sometimes I struggle with the word healing, because you are already it, right? You are already the universe, and the universe does not require healing. But as humans, the healing process is really just letting go of everything that you're not. You're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, you're not your perceptions. You're kind of the observer of all of that. So when you go back into that place of knowing yourself as who you really are, you can drop all of that in an instant. I mean, I guess that's why they call it enlightenment, right? But again, that's one of the litmus tests, is to go, am I able to love the people in my life and world who I have experienced the most pain with? Am I able to love them freely? Maybe there is some forgiveness work that's required. But if you want to be good at receiving, you'll do that. You think about it. If you're running the energy of unforgiveness, that's like a defense mechanism, right? So again, and I know people often groan internally. They go, oh, I have to forgive that person. And it's not like because you have to, right? It's you want to, so you can experience freedom. So you can be free and clear of the energy. So you can be open. So it is easy for you to manifest what you want. So you can literally lean back and let the universe give to you, because there's no separation. It's just who you are. You're in it. You are it, in terms of knowing the truth of who you really are, an infinite being in a body that's here to experience life and has these amazing skills called your intuition, or, the ability to be able to communicate with the divine, to be able to create this. To ask the universe for information, it's always going to respond to you. It's always going to give you information, whether it's through a person, or if it's through a book, or it's going to guide you to a book. Like I know people and books have literally fallen on their heads. Like the universe is saying, read this, and you can have a lot of fun with that. Your intuition's always showing you what it is that is good for your evolution. If something's showing up in your life right now, I can guarantee you, if you contact me, because often what happens, right, people contact me and they're like thinking it's like this, and it's like actually energetically it's like this. So if there's something happening in your life right now, feel free to send me a note or contact me, and I can, because again, being intuitive and psychic, you look at it and you can see it energetically, and it's often completely different because people are often struggling with the symptoms rather than knowing what the cause is. The cause might be something that happened when you were 3 years old that you made a decision about in terms of masculine energy. That's obviously for somebody who's listening in, right? In terms of, knowing what it feels like, because again, that's another aspect of it. Masculine and feminine energy. Masculine energy gives, feminine energy receives. Are your own masculine and feminine energies balanced? A super quick way to tune in and do that, folks, is, if you're able to, if you're, driving or operating machinery, not a good idea, but if you're able to, just gently, quickly close your eyes and just imagine, right, using your imagination to show you, because your imagination is kind of like the gateway to your intuition, what your masculine and feminine energy look like in front of you, and then kind of notice how they are with each other. Do they talk to each other? Are they kind to each other? Sometimes it can just show you because they're different sizes. I remember doing this exercise once and I looked at my masculine energy and I was like, holy cow, my masculine energy is huge, and my feminine energy was kind of sitting down going, waiting for my masculine energy to stop being so overprotective, right? So tuning in, you can find out a lot of information super quick, right? And you'll know it because you'll know what's happening in your life. And it's often a big thing for women too, especially in this day and age, because women can do everything, right? So they end up giving and giving and giving, and then, giving to their kids, giving to their partner, making sure school lunches are made, making sure the kids' stuff gets done, making sure everything's all good at work, their boss is happy, their colleagues all right, their friends who are sick are okay, their parents, women can end up giving so much. And then, of course, what happens is that's not inherently their true nature. I mean, balance is ideal, right? But if you go too far into one extreme, you're going to end up feeling resentful. That masculine energy, again, it's about drive, getting things done, making things happen, getting to the goal. Whereas feminine energy is about receptivity, stillness, nurturing, openness, again, receptivity. Super, super important to be balanced. So if a woman is in her masculine energy and she's going hard at it, A, she's going to burn out. B, she's going to get resentful. C, it's going to probably feel like a competition in your relationship because you've got this masculine energy. And again, when you're with your partner, masculine energy against masculine energy feels like a competition. So if there's anybody listening now and you're like hyper giving in your relationship, check your masculine and feminine energies. And also too with your partner, because what will happen if you're completely in your masculine, by natural polarization, your partner will go into their feminine. So this is why it's so important to be aware and to kind of go, actually, where am I at? Am I helping my partner to feel like a man, or am I going too much into my masculine energy and he's starting to think that he's living with another guy, right? So starting to ask yourself those questions and realize, right, maybe there's part of you that does want to compete, but realize that polarization in relationships, which is required for sexual attraction, is between the masculine and the feminine. So it doesn't matter, right, what sex relationship you're having either. If it's heterosexual, if it's homosexual, there will always be one partner that's carrying more feminine and one partner that's carrying more masculine. And it oscillates. So, but if you bring awareness to that, you'll be able to understand, right, how you can bring your awareness to help support your relationship. Wow, I have jibber jabbered here on Facebook for almost an hour, so I'm going to say bye. If you're watching, folks, I'm actually going to next week do something a little bit different and broadcast on Instagram. So you can follow me on Instagram. It's at RebeccaDavison.life. So come over and join. I've never really done that before, so I just thought this morning, or maybe I'll try do that next week. So if you're interested in watching the videos, come join me over there. Always, of course, you can join the podcast on iTunes by looking up Find Your Bliss and subscribing. And if you do enjoy it, please do leave a review. It definitely helps in terms of other people finding the show and receiving the benefit of the information that I'm sharing. All right, Facebook, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you later. Bye for now. So today, folks, we've been talking about what it takes to be an excellent receiver. And I've been talking quite a lot about going through the chakras and discovering if your chakras are open, right? And noticing too, right, if there's part of your energy field that's not open, because that's going to be information. It's going to be showing you something. What it does feel like to be open in all of those energy centers. Most importantly, of course, in your heart space, you know, if your heart is open, then often a lot of your other energy centers can all come into alignment. Your heart doesn't always necessarily feel open because you may have experienced some heartbreak, right? But again, we want to learn. If we've experienced heartbreak, you want to understand what's really true about love. And I could talk about heartbreak all day long in terms of it shows up in so many different ways, right? In terms of losing loved ones, experiencing grief and that getting stuck in the heart space, in terms of relationships breaking up, you know, divorce or separation, in terms of life experiences, you know, being in conflict with people that you love. And that creating heartbreak. But what heartbreak does in a way is it actually forces us to really look at what is true. And the truth is that true love, you know, once you understand what true love is beyond your ego and beyond attachment, true love does not cause pain. Because true love is just consistent, right? It's our ego and the attachment and the story that we place around love that creates pain. Like I said before about when your head and your heart start arguing because you've maybe had a relationship breakup and your head's saying, oh my goodness, I can't believe that's happened. And your heart's just going, well, I just want to love that person, right? And understanding what it takes to actually shift your perspective and go, only love is real. Who am I? Who do I know myself to be? I am the I am presence. And to come back to the truth, which is I can love people and not necessarily have them in my life. I can love people even if they've chosen to be with somebody else. I can love people. And again, that's not love with attachment. Attachment means that, you know, I'm hooked into them in a way that's negative. It's pulling me down. It's holding me back, right? So loving with true attachment. And again, you can see how this is really the path to enlightenment, because if we can truly love people without attachment, that means that somebody can come into our life and we can love them, and somebody can move out of our life and we can continue to love them. We're not putting expectations. We're not putting obligation. We're not putting a structure around how it needs to look to satisfy our ego. We have an understanding that we're an infinite being, so love endures. It remains, and it remains consistently. So when we have a better understanding of what love really is, it is easier to become open. And it's easier to be open, it's easier to receive. So if you are a woman especially, and you are an overgiver, ladies, I would encourage you to check your body, check your energy centers. How open are you? Are you experiencing a bit of contraction in any of those energy centers? You know, that's what I do. I help people to get free and clear of contraction. You're always welcome to contact me at RebeccaDavison.life/consult for a free half-hour consultation. You know, shifting energy is definitely the fastest way to be able to get back to a place of how you want to feel. And, you know, it's quick, it's fast, and it's deep, right? So, again, you want to be ready. You want to be ready to create significant changes in your life and get to that place where you're like, yeah, let's do this, right? Because love is waiting. Love is always there, looking to experience more of itself. So I hope you found this information useful today. I always love to get your feedback, guys. So please do feel free to share in the Intuitive Life Academy Facebook group. Just need to look up the Intuitive Life Academy if you're not in it already and join us. And, tell me what it is that you want to hear. It was Nicola who suggested this topic today. She was like, how do you be a better receiver? You want to check in with your body. You want to ask yourself, how open am I? You want to be really aware when people do give to you. And you want to notice your level of comfort with that. If you don't feel comfortable with it, there's probably some energy that's looking to shift. Remembering, of course, if you're the person who's giving all the time, you're the one who's in control. And control can be a big thing, right? Like people controlling or trying to control their life. Because you think about it, there's a lot of things that we're not in control of. And we need to really give that control energy up to the universe and just say, hey, universe, I'm not in control. I am a child of the universe. And I am surrendering anywhere I'm trying to control my reality, and I'm going to give it up to the universe because I'm going to trust in the universe that the universe has the bigger perspective, and therefore the universe can bring me my desires by me releasing anywhere I'm trying to choke the hell out of it, right? Because you think about it, if you're controlling something, you're contracting it. You want to let go and let it expand. And this is often where miracles happen, where you loosen some energy or you let go and then something miraculous shows up. And people are like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And it's like, that's because you've just expanded your energetic frequency. You've let go of how you think it should look so you can allow something amazing to show up. Because the universe is always bringing you exactly what it is that you need at any given moment. So again, if you are noticing and practicing being a good receiver, ask the universe to gift to you. Literally say, hey, universe, what would it take to be so appreciated this week? What would it take to be given to? What would it take to be given all good things? Play little energetic games with the universe to allow the universe to show you. And then when you are given to, even if it's like 20 cents, appreciate it. Right? The universe, there's no hierarchy in order of miracles. So if you get 20%, you want to react like you've just been given a Lamborghini. Because you know what? The next thing could be a Lamborghini or the love of your life or an amazing job or an overseas trip. Right? You want to celebrate all the little things. And this is usually where we start. If you manifest a cup of coffee. I used to do, especially with my client Crystal, she was so good at this. We'd play manifesting games, right? And it would be like, okay, let's see how many things that you can manifest this week. And she would send me text messages saying, oh my God, I've had 5 coffees this week and I've been taken out for lunch twice. And she was practicing being in the energy of being an amazing receiver. She's so funny too, because she calls herself a lazy manifester, but she's just in the law of least resistance, right? She's asking for it and then she's letting it go. But also you think about it, you feel into that energy. When it shows up, she's receiving it. When somebody says, can I get you a cup of coffee? She's not going, oh, no. She's going, thank you. That would be awesome. And then kind of high-fiving the universe in her own mind. So being the person who's prepared to play, right? And again, this is especially true for women in relationship to men. Men love to give. Right? Men love to receive, have that feeling of being received. So again, ladies, just checking that within yourselves. Are you a good receiver? When a man or your partner or whoever that may be gives you a compliment, do you take it all the way into your heart? Are you actually able to suspend your own self-judgment and actually go, wow, isn't it cool that they see me that way? Right? That they think that I'm beautiful. Allow yourself to receive that all the way into your body and into your heart space. Hugely important. They will feel it, they will love it, and you will feel it and love it. Right? And again, it might take a little bit of practice. You might feel a little bit of discomfort, but the more you practice it, because again, remembering that giving is about control and receiving can feel a little unnerving because it is about learning to be more open. It's about, and again, that can make us feel vulnerable. So just being tender with yourself, but playing those little games to help you ease yourself into it, right? And then knowing, right, with the universe's help, that you can step into a place of defenselessness and just be completely open in mind, body, and spirit. And then it's like, whew, you want to manifest? You can do it just like that. Because there's nothing stopping you, right? There's nothing stopping you from having what it is that you desire. And you're in those frequencies of bliss, really. It's kind of like, ooh, life is great, right? Like I can think about something, I can have a desire for it, I let that desire go, and then it shows up, right? And we all know on a soul level that that's totally and completely possible. So it's super fun energy to live in. And, you know, if you're listening to this, I know that there'll be part of you that's wanting to experience that. So why not? Let's go for it. All right, folks, as always, it's so much fun and a pleasure to come to you live from the studio here at Plains FM. I'm here every 9 o'clock on a Thursday, so do be sure to mark your calendars to tune in again next week. Do let me know what you would love to hear about. I always love being able to cater to your needs specifically. And remember, if anybody hasn't told you today that I love you and that you are an infinite child of God, so make sure that you go out there today and act like it. All right, folks, lots of love. I'm sending you so many blessings. Bye for now. Bye.